Welcome in. It's the PAWSitively Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC, Iowa City. I'm Jay Capron, KXIC morning host. Ron Salzer here with Petland of Iowa City. We've got a trio of pups this morning. There's a big difference between having one or two or three pups in the studio, especially when they have this kind of energy, Ron. These three Pomeranians are bouncing off the walls here.
Right. We warmed them up last night because when we brought them home, you know, the family always appreciates a little puppy time, and they were a little bashful. And so we worked with them a little bit and got them eating and drinking and all that kind of a thing. And they really didn't get this lively last night, but holy cow, throughout the night, they were like, okay, we're ready to go. And then this morning when I went in there to get them, they're like, come on, let us out. We're all about it.
You're likely to hear them during the show because they keep jumping on each other and playing with each other, and you hear that little puppy growl, and they're pulling on my shoelaces and doing all kinds of stuff here at the KXIC studios. So you'll likely hear about them. We will talk about them. The Pomeranians, the breed of the week. These are three cream-colored Pomeranians, and they are adorable. We had a guest in studio when we recorded this that was just amazed at how beautiful these dogs are. And you can take a look at the Facebook page on KXIC and take a look, and on your website too, I know at Petland of Iowa City, you guys feature your puppies that are available, so you can check that out too. So besides the Pomeranian, which we are going to talk about, what else are we going to talk about today, Ron?
We're going to continue our conversation on training. So we've talked about how to communicate effectively, nicely with your dog about who's in charge. Does your dog bite you when you sit down? Does it bark at you? Does it bark at strangers? You know, kind of a thing. All these different tendencies that our dogs do are because they're trying to dominate in that area, and that's the social style we model them into, so that we can learn from them and communicate better and all that. So we use that approach and talk about how to train your dog. We did that over the last 2 weeks. Today we're going to review that real quick, and then we're going to go, how do I teach my dog to stay? It'd be nice if I could get him to stay. I know I use that command with my little trouble child, Susie, during feeding time. I had to have her sit and stay in one spot. So we'll talk about how to do that. And then we're going to talk about dog food, something by Nutrisource that is going really well and people are really liking it. And then for cats, we're going to talk about EVO. There is some amazing ingredients and things to know about the EVO cat food, and so we're going to summarize all that at the end of the show.
Very good. EVO cat food that we'll talk about, as well as the other brand of food that Ron mentioned, plus the Pomeranian is our breed breed of the week. So we will talk about that, and we'll have our amazing pet story of the week here coming up right now. Oh, I can't look it up. I ran out of my list. I had printed a list of about 30, and we just did the last one last week. So
we're quiet in here. They're not here. Oh, you okay?
Maybe they're going to sleep.
This one was underneath the chair, like I almost freaked out. Like, oh, he got me, went right back.
Good.
I don't know why.
Oh, okay. Very good. And 3, 2, 1. So, big voice guy, we need you.
Where are you?
Here he is. All right, he's bundled up today. He's got an Eskimo look to him. It is chilly out there at the. He's got skis on too. I guess you've inspired him. Huh?
Yeah, you must have heard me talking about it.
He's gonna do some skiing outside the studio here in the fields back behind KXIC. So good luck with that. Thanks, big voice guy. All right. Anyway,
on his own today.
Yes, he's in a hurry. Onward today, we talk about Winnie, a cat, which maybe would enjoy EVO, from Indiana, 14-year-old cat. has a tradition of snoozing on the windowsill of the family's bedroom. One winter day, her owner, Kathy, borrowed a gas-powered water pump for the basement of their home to suction out water after a flood. Keesing turned off the gas pump, shut the windows of the home to keep the cold air out except for Winnie's, and went to sleep. Nobody realized that with the heat on, the carbon monoxide from the pump built up in the basement would begin pushing toxic gas throughout the house. Winnie leapt from her perch onto Kiesling and meowed and scratched at her until she woke up. Dizzy from the gas, Kiesling fell back onto the bed. Winnie wouldn't leave her alone, and Kiesling stayed awake long enough to call 911, was treated with her husband and son for carbon monoxide poisoning. Upon arrival, when the rescue crews came, they say that one rescuer at the scene said that if Winnie had not woken them up, their family could have died within minutes. Winnie saving their family from carbon monoxide.
Go Winnie.
Good kitty.
Yeah, good kitty.
Good kitty. All right, so when we come back, we're going to talk about the Pomeranian. We're going to talk about training and how you can teach your dog to stay. Plus, talk about a dog food and a cat food. It's all coming up here on the Positive Petland Show. We'll be back with more after this on KXIC. Good morning. All right. Right back after. In 3, 2. Welcome back. It's the Positively Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC, waking you up with everything you need to know, local news, sports, information, and talking pets. That's what we do here on the Positive Petland Show. We just learned about Winnie, a cat that saved her family from carbon monoxide poisoning. We're going to talk about the Pomeranian. We're going to talk about training techniques, how to get your dog to stay, and feature a dog and cat food all coming up. So let's get right after it. Ron, tell us about the Pomeranian.
So we have seen, I love the description that AKC has for a Pomeranian. It is a cocky, animated companion with extroverted personality. Have we seen that in the studio or what?
Yes, we have.
Holy cow, these guys are just out there.
Describes them to a T.
And so that definitely does it, but they're in a very small, compact body. And so you're looking at what, kind of in that 3 to 7 pound range. So it's a pretty small dog. These guys look like they're more on that 5 to 7 pound range path kind of a thing. Picture like a little fox face, but put a lot of poof hair around it. And then throughout the entire body, they are the fluffiest per ounce. They got to have more fluff than any dog out there. This is one of those dogs that has the double coated, triple coated. Gosh, I wouldn't even doubt it. There's a quad coated thing going on. They're so poofy. And so that's the look of them. They come in many different colors. Orange and red are the most popular. We've got some cream ones in here today. A little nice mark on their forehead, a little white mark that makes them look like they got a little mohawk or something going on. So they're really fun and colorful and beautiful in that way. Now, let's stump Jay. So I think, okay, they're Pomeranians. Where do they come from?
Pomeranian.
All right. Now, let's make it a little more difficult. Presently, what is Pomerania, that region, called? I think you'll get this. Go. Do it.
Afghanistan.
Whoa. No, you didn't.
Uzbekistan. China.
Germany and Poland. So you had
really?
to go north.
I have no idea.
Yeah, more European. And so these come from that area. Originally, I love this fact about Pomeranians, just to see how these breeds have changed kind of in the recent area. They used to be more in that 30-pound range.
Oh, okay.
So they've definitely been bred down. They've probably used smaller dogs to breed them down over that period and then bred them back to the purebreds to make them back into the pure breeds. Those people talk about purebreds and how that they have, that they're overbred, that aspect. Realize that the AKC and the other registries out there have protocols to prevent that. Purebreds tend to be the most healthy because that's intentionally done to make sure that they have healthy genes, that there isn't overbreeding going on and all that kind of a thing. So in this case, over the last 100 years, they've actually, or a little over 100 years, they've been breeding them down in size. They were a working dog. They were more of a sled type dog now, or herding dog. Now they're just a plain old companion dog. And that has occurred over the last 100 years to get them down to this, under 10-pound range. From 30 pounds to 10 pounds, that's a pretty big leap, but it has been done over time. So there's a good health aspect to that. Temperament, like what we have been seeing here, very outgoing, very good family dog with the right training. And that's what we work on at Petland, a whole training package that goes home with them. We even will work with you on how to do that. So training is key for a little Pomeranian. I always go, though, on a little dog, if they get out of, getting going crazy and all that, it's a little dog going crazy. When you have a larger dog, and that you large dog owners out there really relate to it, they can clear the counter, they can tip over furniture and all that kind of stuff. So training is a really good thing. And that's what we're going to lead into here in a little bit, is we can do training very effectively, very kindly, very good for the dog and good for the family. So Pomeranian. So with that coat, there is going to be some shedding on this dog, definitely, because of the undercoats and all that. They typically go through 1 or 2 sheds a year. It's always funny when they go through their first shed, because right now they're really puffed out. But when they go through that teen stage, so in about 8 months or so, that all goes flat.
They're in between.
Yeah, and it's kind of, it's like, hey, what happened here? Don't worry, it all comes right back. And so it'll just develop that coat again. Furminators are really good in this case to really help them do the shedding process and get that undercoat out so that you don't have it around the house. But it is a small dog, so even if they have some shedding, it's not like there's a lot of shed that's going to be occurring because it's a small dog. So small, great for indoors in the wintertime. The coat is actually outstanding for these cold temperatures that we're for a small dog to have that kind of a coat. It definitely doubles the size of the dog. It's so poofy.
Yeah, I can imagine these are one of those dogs, if they got wet, it would look a lot different.
Oh yeah, they look like little rats kind of thing. They get so small. But in this, when I went out in the cold today, some dogs get a little cowery because, ooh, it's cold out here, and you get them right back into the warmth real quick. These guys were not even hesitant about the cold weather. They were like, hey, yeah, it looks nice out here. Let's go for a run. And so that coat really helps them in the wintertime, especially in the colder temperatures. So nice dog for those apartment dwellers out there. You'll get all the exercise you need out of there within the apartment rather than having to go for walks. If you do go for a walk, these guys are not going to go for a long walk. They're going to go for a short walk because they got little legs. And so they'll get it all run out here fairly quickly, but they're so light. You'll pick them right up and, finish your walk and get back home with them. So that is the Pomeranian.
All right, very good. The Pomeranian, the breed of the week. And onward to training. And so we don't know, we may have a guest come on a little bit later with his puppy. Not sure if that's going to happen or not, but at the very least, we can do a segment with the Pomeranians here and do a little training.
Yeah, you know what? I would love to start off that way.
So, sure, I can get one if you'd like.
I've got one right at my feet.
Are you going to do it, or do you want?
Yeah, we're going to both do it on here.
Sorry, let me find one. Oh.
And what we're going to do is we're going to do the rollover technique, and that is showing the dog who's in charge. And so you go, well, wait, what is this all about, and why do you know this? If you observed a litter with the mom in there, you would find out that when mom was trying to train them and say, this is good behavior or this is bad behavior, what she would do is go to that dog and she would try to be consistent. So every time it was doing the poor behavior, she'd go over there with her snout, would roll them over, and then growl into their little upper chest area. And that way, and the dog would look right up into her and go, what's going on? Did I do something wrong? Yeah, and that's what they do the first time you do it. They don't understand what's going on. Mom then continues to do that every single time the dog misbehaves. Maybe it's fighting with the other dogs or something. And so through repetition, the dog sees that, oh, hey, I'm not supposed to be doing that because I don't like this rollover thing. And I love mom and I don't want mom to have to do that to me anymore. That kind of behavior. So we can simulate that, what mom does, very easily just by rolling them over. So have the belly up. I just say sit down in a chair or something like that. Put them, in the you put your legs together.
Do you
and
have your head up? His head up to the belly then?
Yeah,
That way
yeah,
instead of the
yeah.
other
Good
way?
point. So a little more description here. Belly up, but the head is like at my belly button.
Okay.
And so if your dog is saying, I'm in charge, some ways that the dog is going to tell you this is by a lot of wiggling or even getting vocal, maybe even a little biting, saying, hey, I don't want to be like this. I'm in charge, you're not.
Mine
so,
just kind of lays here.
yeah, mine's just laying here too. I always like to do this on air because every dog is different. Oh, mine's getting a little Richie over here, getting a little wiggly, saying, hey, I was okay with that for the first couple of minutes, but not anymore. And so you want to hold them. I would say those front legs, but more towards the shoulder area. I hold on there. Oh, we got a little vocal going on Jay's side. Yeah, a little wiggly going. Look at, notice how the dog is trying to turn back over again, saying, you know, kind of passively, but it's trying to do that. Some dogs will aggressively say, I want to turn over, I'm done with this. It's important for you to hold on to those shoulders and hold them in that direction. Okay, if you're hearing that little noise, that is Jay's is giving a little sass back right now, getting a little wiggly and all that kind of stuff. And so this is their way of saying,
not being hurt, though. I do want to let everyone
right. This is a very kind way of doing this. There's no hurting going on or anything like that. They're just being like a child saying, hey, I'm the one in charge here, not you. And so what you want to do, let's say you've been doing this for a while, 10 minutes, and you're getting a lot of lashback and all that kind of stuff, and you're kind of getting tired of this, and kind of feel the dog's getting tired of it. All you're going to wait for, and Jay, when you get like 5 seconds of silence, I want you to just release and put your dog up. Okay. And you're almost there. It's starting to calm down. Life is a little better. Now lift him up. So he's releasing when the dog is under control. That's important. If you release them when they're getting all wiggly and vocal and all that kind of a thing, then they just told you who's in charge. They are. And so the first time you do this, if it's a puppy, you might have to retreat a little bit, but wait till they calm down. Wait till they stop wiggling, and then release them, get them back onto their feet and all that kind of a thing.
I think yours is asleep.
Yeah, mine's it's just kind of hanging out. Well, if I then want you to do this over periods of days, training is something you do in small spurts. It's not something you get done in a day. And so what you'll find, next day, they'll calm down quicker. The next day, they'll actually fall asleep in your lap. Now they're really saying you're in charge, and that's really good. So mine is even doing what I call the frog leg thing, where the legs are out and they're relaxed. And so probably another 5 minutes, this guy's going to go to bed. And that's saying, okay, you're in charge. And if they're going to bed, Jay, were we doing anything harmful to that dog? There's no way we were. These guys will relax and go, okay, you're in charge. That way your dog is going to obey you better, is going to look for you for the lead. Do I do this? Is this okay? That kind of a thing. So that's the first step in training, and I wanted to do that live on air. We've been talking about it, but I wanted to do it live, and I'm glad we saw a little lashback there, because your dog might do something similar. A lot of wiggling is usually the key thing there. With Susie, our trouble child at home, holy cow, she was so wiggly. The first day I had to give up at 10 minutes. She gave me 10 minutes of relaxation. Oh, I flipped her over right away and said, okay, you're good. The next day, I went, I think, 25 minutes or so, and life was real good. And then the next third day for Susie, this was a puppy, the third day, she fell asleep after about 10 minutes. So it was that's what you will see for a puppy, for a large breed, or for a dog, an adult dog. You'll want to be cautious with this for the adult dogs, because it is a vulnerable spot for them to be when their belly is up. It's kind of like they're bearing their most vulnerable area. So an adult dog might say, hey, what are you going to do, hurt me? And even though you're not. And so you just do it slowly for those adult dogs. Just be cautious so that they don't get alarmed or anything like that. For large breeds, you're going to do them maybe even off to the side, because we talked about sitting in a chair, putting them in your lap, putting the head towards your belly button, belly up, and doing that. On a larger dog, it might be too big. It'll hang off the end of your legs. Just do it to your side and do it that way. So That's the first step in training.
And what about how to get your dog to stay?
So stay is the next thing. We talked about sitting. It's good to have them in a sitting posture when you're working on stay. So if you haven't taught them to sit, do that. Well, real briefly on that one, we just talked about put the treat by the nose, lift it so that they're looking up, and push backwards. And if any of this is, hey, I don't even understand what you're talking about, come on into Petland and we'll show you how to do it. So you push backwards. 80% of the dogs will just naturally go into a sitting position. You release the treat, you say sit, and now they're going to start learning sit is a good thing, and I get a treat, and life is really good. So stay takes a little bit longer and a little bit of a patience. So first you're going to do it really close. So you're going to say sit, and the dog is going to sit. And so you got through that. Now you're going to say stay, and instead of giving them the treat right away, you're going to pull the treat a little bit away. And what you want to do is catch them doing it right. And so I mean like 3 inches, stay, and you pull the treat away 3 inches. And if they stay, so you didn't go that very far, you go good dog, and give them the treat. So you just taught them that as the treat goes away, that it's good for them to stay sitting and maintain there. So now all you do is lengthen that out more and more for the dog. Stay. You might even put a hand up to the chest, just gently saying stay, so that they stay there. And then good dog, good dog. So now you're going 3 inches, and then you're going 12 inches, and then a couple of feet, and all that. And this might take days. You might get to a foot within that first session, maybe. But then over time, they're going to understand, oh, stay means stay in my position, and it's good to do it over days, and you'll see the progress that you did. With my little Susie, why we were, she was, I think around 10 weeks old, and I had to teach her all this because she was a maniac during feeding time, and we had to teach her to stay away from the bowl while Callie's eating, and that's her turn, and then she'll have her turn in here in a second, so that I don't have bowls flying around. So stay is something that you gradually do over time. You do it very short distance away, like inches, and then you lengthen that further and further away.
I like it. That's pretty easy, and as you can see how that would work as you get them to figure out that it's good for them to be staying right there. You can lengthen the amount, and then that word to them means, okay, I'm not supposed to go anywhere. I just need to stay right where I'm at, and then good things will happen.
Right. And that's what you want. You want to reward them. Great things happen when you do what we're talking about. As far as punishment, usually doesn't, I've never heard of any techniques that work. Everything from potty training, when people push the nose into the poop and stuff, realize that they like the taste of it. I know that's gross, but they like the taste of it. So you just gave them a treat. Doesn't even make sense to do it. You're not benefiting anything like that. So with dogs, they respond really well with positive reinforcement. And the 3 ways to give positive reinforcement, treats are scientifically proven. Number 1, most best way to show that life is good. I really like what you're doing. Then the second one is scratches around the jaw area. So it's tactile. Right there is the best place. And then reaffirming voice is the third best. And that's good dog, good dog. It's a nice, pleasant tone. Your dog will actually learn over a short period of time that that's a reward. And so I always say, give the treat and then scratch the jaw and say, good dog, all at once. And now you got the triple threat as far as showing that your dog really likes it. Hey, try this stuff on your kids and it works too.
Nice. That's Ron Salter with Petland of Iowa City. Just enough time to feature 2 quick foods, and then we'll be done for the day here for the program. And so we'll start with the dog one that you have first. What's the dog food?
It's Nutrisource Prairie Select. This food is one of those that Nutrisource came out with, and we just put it on the shelf. The rep came in and said, hey, you want to put this out there? It's a new product and all that kind of stuff. Well, we put it out, and it sold. We didn't even talk about it. And that's kind of rare for people just to grab it off the shelf. So Nutrisource Prairie Select, some of the key differences on this one, it is the top ingredients: quail, duck, green lentils, isn't that kind of fun? Duck meal, peas, garbanzo beans, pea flour, sunflower meal. Those are, I went fairly far into the ingredients, and man, I couldn't find anything that I questioned there. That was all good stuff there. And so it's kind of like that prairie aspect of it. It is a grain-free product. So if you're looking for that, Nutrisource Prairie Select is a really good brand for that. Realize that most dogs don't need that grain-free formula. There's it's just more of a trend, but people like it and feel good about it, and that, hey, that's okay for that. Some of the let's see here. Let's look at the analysis. It has 26% protein. It's kind of an average. It's nothing crazy big. Realize that for dogs, they went a little overboard about 5 years ago on the protein. They started getting it really high. They actually found that high protein levels in dog food, we're talking 40%, was actually not good for the dog. It was good for those very, very active dogs, but for most dogs, it wasn't a good thing. So 26% is a really nice number for dog food. So Prairie Select, check that one out in our store by Nutrisource. We've got it in 3 different sizes, so you can try it. And remember, all of our dog and cat food is on that buy 10 get 1 free aspect. Then I also wanted to talk about EVO, and then specifically cat food. For those cat customers out there, you guys want to check this thing out. We've got 2 flavors in the store, herring and salmon, and the other one I think is a turkey type variety. I looked at the analysis on it, nutrients analysis. So we just got finished saying high protein is not the best for dogs. Cats, they love it. It's great. 47% protein in EVO. That is crazy good for cat food. 78% high quality animal ingredients. So 78% of what's in that bag is high quality animal ingredients. That's what the cats will eat. I know we're on the way to church right now, and that might be a little gross, but that's what they eat, and so it's good. They balance it out with 22% fruits and vegetables, 0% grains, glutens, or potatoes. So that's an interesting little analysis there. Some other highlights that they bring out: more than 1/3 of a pound of animal protein. They're just bringing that back out. Glucosamine and chondroitin is also in there, so that's going to help those joints. Omega-3s and fatty acids are increased. That's for a healthier skin and coat. My own cat is a huge benefit of that. I have I think it's 14-year-old cat now, and when we go to see our Dr. Anderson, our veterinarian, holy cow, he just says that coat is amazing for that age of a cat. There's no pieciness or anything like that. It is silky, smooth, and solid and all that. Highly digestible, this EVO product. That is key. When you go to those marts and get your food from the grocery store or from the marts or anything, digestibility is the key. They'll show higher protein values and stuff like that, but it's not digestible. They'll put protein sources they can't even digest. And I know that sounds wacky, but that's how they get around it, because they're cheap. And so they put that into the product, and you go, oh, it's a nice cheap bag of food, and look at all the ingredients are really high. It's not digestible, and that's the problem. So that is EVO in a nutshell. I just talked about herring and salmon. We've got some other flavors in the store. Come on in and try this stuff for your cat. I'm really excited about having that in the store.
All right, very cool. That's Ron Salzer with Petland of Iowa City, and we are out of time for the show. We talked about Pomeranians, talked about some training. We had your amazing pet story of the week, a cat that saved a family from carbon monoxide poisoning, and you just heard about a couple new foods that you can consider. Ron, as we wrap up the show, tell us about your store, and we'll talk to everybody next week. Tell us about your store.
We're Petland of Iowa City. We're located across from the Sycamore Mall. If you haven't gone to Lucky's Market, check that out. It's a pretty cool store over there. We're just right across the parking lot from them. Some of the things that people love about our store is, one, pets. We got pets, and people get to play, and we educate you on them and what's the right pet for you and all that. We've got the puppies to play with, the kittens to play with, the rabbits and the guinea pigs and the reptiles and the fish. You can't handle the fish, I'm sorry. So that aspect, all of our premium dog food, all of our dog food and cat food is on a buy 10 get 1 free. We track it for you, so there's no big you don't have to cut the UPCs or anything like that. We do it for you, and you get the countdown on your receipt, so you see where you're at and all that kind of thing. So it's a really cool program there. And then we do $5 nail trims. Just bring in your recent vaccination record. needs to be up to date on that distemper and that rabies, just like everybody else, and we'll get that done for you while you wait. No appointments necessary. So $5 nail trims, you can't beat a $5 nail trim.
No, you can't. Absolutely. Well, that's Ron Salzrud. That's Petland of Iowa City. I'm Jay Capron for Ron Salzrud. It's time to wrap up the show. Check out the Positive Petland Show online at kxic.com and every Sunday at 9 a.m. Bye.